We are live. This is the market update. Merry Christmas. I am your host, Bill Noble. I want to wish all the readers, listeners, customers Merry Christmas and Happy New Year if you're watching this a couple days from now. We appreciate everybody's patience with some technical issues to start the stream. Now, Solana, will it stop? If you're not on the train, when do you get on the train? Where is Bitcoin going and how high is Bitcoin going? These are the things that we're going to answer today. We're going to try to come up and I'm going to give you part, emphasis part, of the roadmap that the guys in my Patreon have been using all along. Speaking of which, this show is brought to you by my Patreon. You may have noticed that for 3 years, the market update was available, right? Now it is available, but I've had to put some of it and create an exclusive club for people where I'm delivering a ton of value for $15. So if what I'm doing resonates with you, please go check that out. As of now, I have 300 proud Spartans in there. More on that in a minute. All right, let's take a moment to welcome who is here. Okay, the guys who waited. Ron, good morning. Merry Christmas from Amsterdam. Steve J, Ashton, Art. Happy holidays to you, Ave, T-Bone. By the way, guys like T-Bone and Big Rich, just so you know, these guys are on their own out there on Twitter, basically marketing and providing ongoing testimonials. And I want to tell you, gentlemen, not just YouTube, but anybody who's been doing that, I've seen it and I appreciate it. Baby Whale, right? Pancakes and peanut butter are regular. Megan, what's up? Patriot Caveman. Nico, Mr. Sean, Joe Mike, Richard Barry, of course, is here. Welcome. Raymond. All right. Will, everybody in the house. Okay, now you might wonder why you're tuning into a market update on Christmas and what the need for that is. First of all, the crypto market loves to do this type of things on holidays. You open in your gifts, you had your dinner, boom. Last night, they actually did it to you on Christmas Eve, which was somewhat a little bit more twisted, right? You're trying to have the silent night, and all of a sudden, you know, Solana's at 120. Okay. It's kind of a classic, right? If you go on my Twitter, there's a small piece, the 6th Street Crypto podcast called What If I Was a Crypto Hedge Fund? I'll give you the executive summary. If I was long and I knew people missed it, and I knew even the bullish people took profits on Solana at $75, what would I do? I give my trading desk a big bonus to come in on Christmas and just ram it to the upside. Just ram it in a thin holiday market. Absolutely ram it. Okay. So I'm going to go in. Is my display distorted? Okay. Let's maybe take the resolution down a little bit. Is that better? Hopefully it is. Okay. Okay. We're working on a different computer today. Now, somebody's asking, what are we going to do about Solana? Aiken is here. By the way, just so you know, I also want to thank, there are some people in my Patreon who dug deep to get the money to get into my Patreon. And again, to those people, I say I appreciate it. In past markets, you know, the service that I'm providing was, you know, my employer was charging a lot more money. Okay. T-Bone says it's still a little fuzzy. Okay, that it's better. I'm going to take it down to 480, and then I'm going to get into the news. Okay. As long as you can hear me, we'll be in good shape. All right, big news. Forget the spot Bitcoin price ETF. A huge unexpected flip could be about to hit the price of Bitcoin. Okay. So Bitcoin is within shouting distance of 45,000. And I think, you know, crypto investment products saw 103 million in weekly inflows. What happens if that comes down to like 103 million a week? I have a scenario and they're out there, right? What happens if 1% of all pension fund assets wind up in Bitcoin? We'll talk about it. Okay. Last year, if you put $100 in Bitcoin and Ethereum, okay, that would be substantially higher, $257. Who won in crypto in 2023? Okay. Cosmos, Render, obviously Solana. You want to know who won in 2023? The pigs. The pigs won in 2023. What's that mean? That means people who came in, got long, and stayed long. Megan noticing MOVR has been ripping, right? Yes. If you look at the Kusama, remember Kusama, operational Polkadot? It's unbelievable. The people who won in 2023 were the people who said, I believe in crypto and I'm not selling. Because this price action, remember, very simple. Crypto was down because of two things. One, mass liquidation, forced liquidation, keyword, from the FTX Celsius debacle. Everyone covered the SBF trial. Nobody was talking about crypto being artificially depressed. Now, one of the reasons why it stayed artificially depressed was a Fed tightening cycle. And as soon as Jerome Powell said, we're not going to do any more tightening and the next move is going to be an ease, crypto ripped, just ripped higher. Okay. That's why the market is trading like this. Hey, does anybody remember Gary Gensler? Do you remember this Gensler XRP fixation all year? The guy was never going to matter. And he doesn't matter now because the only thing that matters is price. And price is unwinding the entire bear market, or at least the brutal part of the bear market that started in April of 2022. Don't know how to read charts? Don't worry about it. Just go find out where your crypto was in April of 2022 and then expect that as an upside target. Gensler says there's far too many frauds and bankruptcies. People get hurt in crypto. There's no doubt about it. People got hurt in the gold rush, right? Who made money in the gold rush in America? Way back when in the Wild West, the people who sold picks and shovels. You can't have exploration, right? The gold rush settled the American West. You can't have exploration. You can't have innovation without some excess. Now, yes, crypto does have an inexcusable amount of excess at certain points. And this market does have a way of blowing itself up from time to time. But you cannot invent something new seamlessly. So yes, Gary, there are problems out there, but there are also other problems that you should be paying attention to, like you should have been paying attention to Silicon Valley Bank. So hopefully Gensler is having a great Christmas, sitting at home, watching us moon this whole thing as he sits and has to approve the Bitcoin ETF because BlackRock told him to. Japan's cabinet proposes scrapping corporate tax on unrealized crypto gains. This is a very important headline. Okay. The Japanese are slowly turning towards crypto because they know that when their central bank loses control of interest rates, not going to give you the economics lesson on crypto, but when they lose control of interest rates, okay, the yen is going to go up a lot and the dollar is going to go down a lot. And there's going to be a lot of currency and interest rate turmoil in Japan. So they are pivoting to crypto. The Chinese are pivoting to crypto, right? Because they have to print gigantic amounts of money to salvage their financial system, which is being hurt by commercial real estate. Remember in June of this year, right? The stories we all forget about the Chinese opening up Hong Kong. The amount of money that's going to come into this system is staggering, which is why I've been telling people my Patreon, be a pig. We'll go into more about what that means about investment strategies that, believe it or not, like, once I brought back Gann and Jesse Livermore from the early 20th century, Now I'm bringing back two guys from the late 20th century. More on that in the PowerPoint. Okay. Spot crypto ETF applications will be considered in Hong Kong. Solana nears 100 as meme coin frenzy drives rally. Okay, a word about Solana, meme coins, excess, and the last cycle. Now, Solana mania, everybody's got to start tracking Solana coins. All the coins on ETH, right? The coin for one of the presidents is trying to bridge from ETH over to Solana. Everyone's trying to get over there. Now, what I remember from the last cycle was that there was a huge mania in ETH-based, coins, with DeFi leading the way, with Uniswap and Aave and Compound being like Chainlink being the first group to really explode, right? But eventually, ETH captured all the value from the mania on its network. So yes, meme coins up 1,000%. I get it, right? But people don't realize that when you have meme coins and things going up 1,000% on a network, that the coin that represents the network that it's on captures a huge amount of value, which is an indirect way of saying, do not underestimate what Solana can do if it goes through $175. Now, I have a specific roadmap for my Patreon people, and we'll discuss some of it today. But remember, a lot of times when there's small coins going nuts on a network, the network itself is what captures the value. So you can have fun at the casino, but remember where the value gets created. Is it really up only for Bitcoin? I think if there's anything in Bitcoin that's actually frustrating people, it's probably this trade where you have to sit around and watch Solana the same way everybody in Bitcoin had to sit around and watch DeFi summer in 2020, right? Bitcoiners sat and watched Bitcoin sit at 10K while alts rampaged, to the point where Bitcoin people were like, this is never going up. Now, of course, the person who didn't say that was Michael Saylor, who just sat there and bought more Bitcoin. And now Michael Saylor basically is not only Warren Buffett, but, he could be some sort of Greek god, right? Or somebody who every time he opens his mouth, the general public is like completely glued in to what he's saying, right? You got to think about Michael Saylor for a second, right? Spot Bitcoin ETF could completely destroy Bitcoin. Wall Street giants would serve to vacuum up Bitcoin and store it in a metaphysical vault. If it's too successful, the number of Bitcoin transactions could dry up. This says the BitMEX founder. Okay. So Michael Saylor, a genius about Bitcoin, Arthur Hayes, clearly a thought leader, has got concerns about what happens if Wall Street takes over Bitcoin. And you know what? I agree. However, what we're witnessing in the crypto market is, the crypto market is basically saying if Bitcoin is not it, the crypto market will go find something else. Now, I think Bitcoin is it. I also think institutional control over Bitcoin is bad. The fact that Gensler is actually in a hurry to approve the Bitcoin ETF should creep you out a little bit. But I still think the free market is more powerful than these guys. But Arthur Hayes has a point. So if they can't moon Bitcoin, they'll moon something else. And that something else is called Solana. Okay. SEC sets deadline for spot Bitcoin. They keep moving it up. Like, no one is really asking the question, why are they in a hurry? Now, no one really cares because the market's going up. I don't really care because the market's going up. But, the Bitcoin ETF, people just think, a number go up. Just like people thought that when XRP won the lawsuit, that XRP was going to go up forever. Okay. It's not true. Okay. Whatever everyone thinks is not always true. Just remember that. Right. A lot of people think Solana was just some altcoin that was going to stop at 75. And the people in my Patreon, they got a possible roadmap in that today, that with some shocking numbers. Okay. Base network is growing. Coinbase is layer one. Right. In other words, I think my dark horse was Phantom and Near. And you want to know what mistake I made? Like, the one mistake I made in the last 2 months was even suggesting that people should take some profits in Near. And then it went up 25%. Okay. Never underestimate what can happen in this market. 2024 will be the year that crypto investors get sophisticated with derivatives. 2024 will be just like every other year in human history where you don't listen to the media, right? If they think institutions and derivatives will be all that, well, then the free market will probably find something else to do. And it already has, right? It said, oh, let's go start a new ecosystem over on Solana, Phantom, Near. Let's boot up Web3. Solana phone, people. People don't understand what the Solana phone means, but they will. Okay. I don't know. Bitcoin price absolutely primed to gain again. I agree. Right. I don't think the Bitcoin ETF is the greatest thing in the whole world, but can you imagine what happens when Bitcoin starts trading like Solana? I mean, ultimately, it's bad if Wall Street hoovers up all of Bitcoin, but we got a long way to go before that. Okay. Look at this. See, this is what I talk about when I talk about the media. 2023 story of the year, the war on crypto. That's what the media thinks the story of the year was about. No, that's not the story of the year. That's what all the media yip yap was about. And of course, the media yip yap is always wrong, right? Can you imagine? Did you hear any media yip yap about the fact that Solana was at 15 was a joke, that it was artificially depressed? No, you heard none of that. It was Gensler, SBI. I mean, they were still covering the FTX trial. You still heard more about what a terrible witness Sam Bankman-Fried was while Bitcoin was going up. The media was covering the wrong story. The wrong story. Okay? Now, this is true. Institutional investors poised for increase in crypto activity. No macro portfolio manager, right? There's two types of crypto hedge funds today, Christmas Day 2023. The first kind of crypto hedge fund is at work, fully manned trading desks ramming this market higher. That's probably Novogratz and friends. Then there are other crypto trading desks, probably smaller ones, that are still trying to get caught up chasing this thing, because if Bitcoin is up 60% since August, it's actually been more difficult than you think, especially if you're in the liquid universe. Like, yeah, if you did Algorand, Polkadot, Solana, yeah, you got a couple 100%. But you can tell by the way this market trades that people are underperforming. They're bullish, they're long, but they may not be long the right things. There's a couple ways to lose in a bull market. One, you're not long enough. Two, you're long the wrong stuff. And that's why this market is trading like this, because big institutions who are either long the wrong stuff, not long enough, are chasing anything that moves, which is why Solana is probably going to 175. And if Solana goes through 175, then we're going to have like a white swan, right? Where all these institutions that were supposed to be chasing Bitcoin may wind up starting to chase Solana. And, Multicoin's got a huge position. They're the only people that I could think of that would have enough liquidity to sell to match the buyers that are coming in. And I'm pretty sure Multicoin is not planning on selling, because they bought it at 30 cents, wrote it up to 200, and then they wrote it back to $10. Right? I mean, the Phantom wallet shows that Solana has also triggered a cross-chain future, right? In other words, people now have to go from Bitcoin, right, back and forth, Ethereum back and forth, and Solana. And now they have to be able to go through all three chains simultaneously. That's why Rune took off, right? The crypto future, which is still under discussed because everybody is talking about the casino on Solana, which is fine. Again, people are not talking about cross-chain enough, right? Enough. Legislative outlook. What headwinds does crypto face in 2024? Folks, let me tell you something. Not sure how the video is coming across, but I'm just going to give it to you straight up. There's Gensler. There's Elizabeth Warren. There's Jerome Powell. I don't think Jerome Powell cares about crypto. I think he just cares about being blamed for an inflation problem. But there's people like Yellen, right, that printed all this money when it wasn't necessary. Bernanke, who got the Nobel Prize for igniting inflation. All these people need to see the green button get pushed over and over again. I mean, we could sit here for an hour and go through, which we're not doing on Christmas, right? Of all the people that want to take away the freedoms that a lot of us in America take for granted. Every day there's a news article about somebody trying to change free speech. I saw the World Economic Forum talking about access to water. I consult for a group that's got a solution to that. Everywhere you go, someone's trying to make you less free. And there is nothing more glorious than hitting that green button as a way to push back against those people. Now, crypto's in full greed mode, folks. I'm not going to kid myself about the philosophical stuff. Again, I can talk about that on the market update. I also talk about it on my Patreon, by the way. The link for that is in the description down below. Okay. Crypto is freedom. Okay. King Chowder is here. Welcome. Okay. Megan says, I adopted Solana around $16 to $18, and she's not done yet. You know what? That's the market update. No, I'm kidding. It could be. It could be. Okay, let's get into this PowerPoint. Some of the stuff in this PowerPoint is going to absolutely blow your mind. And I'm also going to tell you some of the stuff. I'm going to show you some of the stuff that I've been teaching my people about how to navigate the market psychologically. Okay. In other words, what is the mental construct for this market? Okay. By the way, just in case you haven't heard, this show is brought to you by my Patreon, patreon.com/unhinged crypto. That's the company that, sort of my umbrella. It's my umbrella company. Check it out. Okay. Congratulations to the nickname is Lochez, the 300th Spartan to join my group. 300 Spartans. The only difference between the movie and this situation is that we will prevail and we will inspire 20,000 people, just like the last group of Spartans. So Spartan warriors, female, male Spartan warriors are in the house. Congratulations, Lochez, and congratulations to everybody in there who helped market the thing to get it there. Now, let's get to old school, right? This is from a stock market guy called Marty Zweig. Now, the reason stock market stuff, old school stock market stuff, is great for this crypto market is because these guys were trend writers, right? Rule number one, the trend is your friend. Don't fight the tape, right? Everyone's looking for a dip. You're not getting one. When no one's looking for a dip, that's when you get it, which may happen a couple days from now. Let profits run, take losses quickly, right? Everybody was in a big hurry to take profits. Why? I mean, yeah, you want to take some tactical trading profits if this gets stupid and you have God candles, so you have enough money to buy a dip and say Bitcoin or Solana, right? But you do want to take some tactical trade, but like 10%. You don't want to like get off the train. If you buy for a reason and that reason is discounted or is no longer valued or is no longer valid, then sell. So why are we buying crypto? Freedom. Unwind of the whole Celsius bear market. Massive trouble in fiat in the dollar. Are those reasons gone? No. They haven't even started yet, right? If the values don't make sense, then don't participate. Okay? That was 2021. Okay? If things are too lofty and the Fed's about to tighten, get out. But I mean, we're not in that environment. Everybody keeps waiting for that to come back. That's not what's happening. The cheap get cheaper, the dear get dearer. That's number 5. Okay, this is the thing you have to remember about Solana, right? If Solana is the new golden person, it may not stop. I mean, 175 is my target, and if it goes through 175, the deer will get dearer. Don't fight the Fed. The Fed said we're not going to tighten, and the Fed put a bunch of liquidity in the market in November, and that's what ignited this rally. That's the short version. That's why this thing is just smoking higher. That's why equity smoked higher, right? Don't fight the Fed. Now, why did the Fed all of a sudden back off? Well, the U.S. government can't pay its bills, and the Chinese are in trouble. So Jerome Powell's phone rang, and he backed off and went, full dovish after going full hawkish a month ago. Every indicator, number 7, every indicator eventually bites the dust. This is very important because you know what I told my people in Patreon 2 weeks ago? Throw the charts out. Throw them out, which is shocking given that I'm a technical analyst. Just throw them out. Because if you look at them, you're going to see an overbought RSI. You're going to see a potential negative momentum divergence, which happened in total 3. That's total crypto market cap without Bitcoin and Ethereum. Throw them out. Not forever, but don't sit there and look at indicators that worked in the bear market or even the last cycle and think that they're going to be relevant when you have what? A fundamental shift. In other words, when you get in the elevator on Tuesday and somebody goes, what's going on in crypto? Your answer is a fundamental shift. And they're going to be like, well, what's a fundamental shift? You go, where everything changes, right? Everything changes and the value of everything has to be reset. The value of everything has to be reset for lower dollar, lower rates, and an unwind of the artificially depressed FTX tightening cycle crypto market. The Solana phone ignites Web 3. What did iPhone do for Web 2? Everyone's in a hurry to take profits in Solana 2 weeks ago. Apple's got like a $3+ trillion market cap. 10 years, right, 15 years after iPhone came out, Apple's got a $3 trillion market cap. Can you imagine Solana having a $2 trillion market cap 8 years from now? Everyone thinks this could be a 2-year cycle in crypto. What if it's a 10-year cycle in crypto? What if the whole cycle idea is now over? Equities went up for 15 years. I mean, seriously, 2 years from now, you'd be like, yeah, I took profits in Solana at $75. My people in Patreon, that's not going to happen to them. Okay. Don't let your opinion of what should happen bias your trading strategy. Okay. In other words, if you missed it, don't get bearish. Don't fight it. 8, adapt to change. 10, don't blame your mistakes on the market. Look, if you screwed up here, like I picked a couple turkeys, like, we worked on a portfolio. Some of them worked out, some of them didn't. Don't blame the market. Don't play all the time. In other words, this market paid you to just walk away. If you spot hodlers killed traders because they just walked away. They're just like, okay, I got my position. See you. The next time I think you have to pay attention to Solana is if it gets to 175 or if there's a nasty dip in Bitcoin, but still, right? There are select points like 117. I got another one and then 175. You don't have to play every day because I think if you looked at this market, you would have cashed out. It was so much money so fast and you're so used to looking at the bear market. The less you looked at it, the better you did. Okay. The market is not efficient, but it's still tough to beat. Okay. That's a stock market thing, but the market doesn't always price in everything. Sometimes markets get things terribly wrong. Was $10 really the true value of Solana? Is $45,000 really the true value of Bitcoin? No, it's not. They teach you in school markets reflect everything. No, they don't. They don't reflect a darn thing half the time. Markets can be so wrong, and that's why you have so much volatility in crypto right now because the market is just flat out wrong. You'll never know all the answers. I don't know all the answers. I know it is a very strong expectation in crypto. You're going to know the day-to-day moves. You don't know. You don't know if Solana is going to stop at 175 and that's it, or if Solana is going to do something else. Okay. Don't put too much faith in experts. Okay. People claiming to be experts. I always say, if you find a technical analyst in a $3,000 suit, frequently you should run the other way. If you can't sleep at night, reduce your positions or get out. Or if you're sleeping too well at night, maybe you need more risk. Okay. Beware of new era thinking. It's different this time because, okay. Now, new era thinking, people might be like, well, meme coins on Solana are going to go up 10,000%. and it's up 1,000%. It's going to go up 10,000%. Every meme coin is going to be bonk. That might be new era thinking. A lot of people are dumping ETH to get into these meme coins, and I don't necessarily agree with that. Okay, next lesson about markets. Stan Druckenmiller, famous stock market guy, never had a down year. Ran a big macro hedge fund, never had a down year. And that's, with huge crashes, 2008, all that stuff, never had a down year. So the conventional wisdom is diversification. And Stan on the left says, I like putting all my eggs in one basket and then watching that basket very carefully, which is exactly the theory. Like my Patreon people heard about this. That was a tweet from December 22nd. And my Patreon people had that strategy 10 days, 12 days, 14, 18, 20 days before that tweet was published. Find a select group of cryptos that are going to smoke and watch them really carefully. In other words, it's not about abandoning risk management, which is on the right. The only way to make long-term returns in our business that are superior is by being a pig. Let me explain. There's a saying in markets, bulls make money, bears make money, pigs get slaughtered. Now, that means people who are bullish, they do a trade, it goes up, they take profits, they make money. Bearish, they get short, it goes down, they take profits, they make money. Pigs, they put a trade on, it goes their way, they don't take the profits, and then it winds up a loser because they don't take the profits. Now, again, I am advocating taking at least some tactical profits on a Christmas God candle, okay? But you have been paid to be a pig in this market. And there are guys who get long and stay long. Remember Marty Zweig, the trend is your friend? The trend is your friend, man. Make them push you out. Now, if you pay 113 for Solana, could you get washed out? Yeah, you might. So you still have to use stops, but the point is, Polkadot at 9, Polkadot was at 50. Right? Somebody held it on the way up in 2021. I have no idea why people are doubting this uptrend, because this is more powerful than just central banks printing a whole bunch of money for COVID. This is way more powerful. Okay, some math. What if 1% of the $56 trillion in pension funds wound up in Bitcoin? So this is ChatGPT output from a while back, actually. I was early. So this says that you would have, if $560 billion went into Bitcoin, Bitcoin would go up like 1% every day for a year. And I asked Grok to confirm ChatGPT's number, that would result in a Bitcoin price of over 250K. And I've already seen math like this floating around on Twitter, that they're basically saying if legacy comes into this teeny-weeny crypto market, it won't stop, which is why you actually have to be careful if Solana goes through 175. If Solana goes through 175, you have you have a situation where you have bullish danger, where you could have such wild price action. And this is a mathematical way of me telling you that. Like, I know you can't read the ChatGPT output. I know I explained it to you. And everyone's like, oh, Bitcoin, 250K. Yeah. Okay. Have you ever thought about what the price action would look like if there was actually a reason for Bitcoin to go to 250K? Like the Solana phone, or a problem with the dollar or the yen. No one is talking about these things. No one. This is what's going to drive the entire rally. Meme coins, speculative stuff, kick it off, right? The junk always rallies first. I always say that. But then the thing that can like proliferate here. I mean, do you realize as you're listening to this on Christmas Day, people in legacy are texting each other. They have Coinbase accounts. Do you think they're going to look at Solana at 100 and go, oh, that's expensive? I can't do that. When ETH is at 2,200, they remember trading ETH. They're like, oh, look. Oh, Solana's just like ETH. Oh, it's $100. Boop. You tell somebody in legacy, if you tell a stock market investor that Solana is potentially a better version of ETH and ETH is at 2000 and Solana is at 120, what do you think that guy's going to do? That's the market update. Bitcoin monthly. Okay, Tom DeMark, famous quant technical analyst, developed all these cool systems back in like 1980 something when you needed a building full of C++ programmers to make things like TradingView. Okay, DeMark has this cool thing where support points are automatically drawn, which is nice. I got one on the Bitcoin monthly chart at 59K. So Bitcoin's at 43, 44. What stops Bitcoin from going to 59K the last week of the year? What stops that? Nothing. Nothing. Right? Everyone has to buy it. There's not enough Bitcoin. And, you know, Arthur Hayes is talking about if all the Bitcoin in the whole world gets hoovered up, best get it now. Best get some in a hard wallet because you could wake up one day and not be able to get it. So you think Bitcoin, based on the way Solana is moving, Bitcoin can't move $15,000 like something like what it did in like, say, 2020 or get wild like it did in 2016? You best think again. Like this. This is a Bitcoin weekly chart. Look at this. This is like my fib speed resistance lines. Like, here's a simple fact. Like I said, everyone's coming to crypto. Everyone's like, oh my God, I've got to buy this expensive chart software. I got to do this. Like, no, you don't. I mean, yeah, you got to learn some stuff, but okay, here's a fact. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, the S&P 500, and NASDAQ 100, aka Web 2, are at all-time highs. And Bitcoin is still 62% below its all-time high. And if you look at this fib diagonal resistance work, you see this over here, how it's kind of popped through the line and sort of just sat there like a bird on a wire getting ready to fly. I mean, why is Bitcoin not at its all-time high? Can you answer that question? It's not, the Fed's not in the way. Gensler's not in the way. What's in the way? Nothing. Just everyone's going to push the button at the same time. Now, if there's a danger to altcoins, it's that Bitcoin just takes off and just completely explodes. But there's no reason for Bitcoin not to be at its all-time high. Most of crypto is like that. Most of crypto hasn't even unwound Celsius and FTX yet. But Bitcoin is 62% away from its all-time high, and boomer instruments are at all-time highs. They're crazy, right? Look at this. Total crypto market cap. Okay, here's a rounding bottom. Okay, and here's the vertical down move that started with Celsius and ended with FTX. Okay, and the Fed sat on it, so it made a rounding bottom, and now it went straight down, so it can go straight up. Total crypto market cap can go from 1.6 trillion to 2.1 trillion in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. 6 weeks. I mean, it went straight down in 6 weeks. It can go back up in 6 weeks. I mean, are you telling me that with Bitcoin, ETH possibly waking up? Because again, legacy investors, they're going to say, well, what hasn't mooned? Oh, ETH hasn't mooned? Okay, let's buy that. Oh, gee, I looked a couple months ago. ETH was like around 2,000. Oh, cool. It's still around 2,000. Boink. That's the sophisticated mentality that you've now got. It's that simple. So if you can go down 6 weeks, you can go down, you can go up. Look at this. This is total 2. This is the extent to which ETH has underperformed. So total 2 is total crypto market cap without Bitcoin. So primarily driven by ETH. Look at this. Like you're sitting on a base. You've broken out the top. So you had that famous saying, the bigger the base, the higher in the space. Meaning the longer something just sits down here like this, the more powerful the rally when it goes up. Look at this. You went down in like 8 weeks. Then it was like, oh, yeah, Solana went to 90. I'm taking profits because I can draw a line on a chart. I mean, I'm all about technical analysis, but people, this is the technical analysis you need to be looking at. It's the bigger the base, the higher in the space, down 8 weeks, up in 8 weeks. ETHE, Ethereum in the equity market. Well, gee, everyone's going to come after the crypto stocks on Monday. They're going to be after the Bitcoin miners. I've been covering this ad nauseum on market updates publicly, private streams, in the group. I'm just like Patreon. I'm like, it's like they already know. They're already long it. So when they go after the Bitcoin miners, they're going to go after GBTC, and then they're going to go after ETHE as well. You got 30% upside in Ethereum before there's any measure of resistance. Again, Ethereum, the April 2022 high is at 35.50. Yeah, everything may move to Solana, but you just have to remember the equity market investors are out there, and the same people who are going to buy Bitcoin are also going to come in and buy Ethereum, right? Because Ethereum still can be used as money. And even though there are gas fees, all the giant things that have been built on Ethereum are still going to be on Ethereum, right? Don't start a cycle that could be anywhere from 2 to 10 years tweeting that Ethereum is dead. That may not age well. Total 3, again, Solana, right? So this is no Bitcoin, no Ethereum. This is Solana, Near, Phantom, right? Avalanche. Look at this weekly candle. Like, this is an air pocket. Like, altcoins are in the middle of an air pocket. In the middle, right? Altcoins could go from 513 billion market cap to 603, and that just unwinds like 3/4 of Celsius and FTX, because it was straight down, and now it could just be straight up. It's just that I think people have sticker shock. They don't understand. Like, you want to throw the charts out, and this is the chart that gets you to throw the charts out, right? Because you're in the middle of an air pocket. So divergences, certain types of resistance, it's not going to help you, because the market is doing this. Like, this was a fundamental shift to the downside. Now you're in a fundamental shift to the upside. Web3, problems with the dollar, crypto undervalued, right? This is Sam Bankman-Fried. This is the Solana phone. A fundamental shift in the middle of a technical air pocket. Solana monthly. DeMark, automatic support, basically 175, 180 bucks. That's it, right? But that's it. And of course, you look at the DeMark work on a monthly chart. I won't give you the DeMark lesson, but this could go on. The 4 candle is supposed to be a dip. You may not get a dip until Solana gets to 175. And if Solana does actually go through that, well, you're going to want to be in my Patreon for the details. Look at this. Like Near. Near has done nothing. We thought we were geniuses back in the bull market when we bought Near at 90. It went to 20. Okay. I told people to take profits at 3.5, and the next target is 6 something, which again is the November 2022 high. Right. So, I don't mind allocating money from Near to Solana, but again, the one mistake I made was getting off the Near train, at least short term. This goes to Megan's point about Moonbeam, I think. So this is Kusama, operational Polkadot. The high was 500. It's currently trading at 59. Now, I'm sure if you looked at Kusama on a daily chart, it's like, oh my God, I could never buy this. And people are getting out. People are looking for dips. Yeah, people, here was the dip. This was the dip from the start of 2022 or late 2021. You had 2 years of a dip. Now everyone wants a dip to get in. Bull markets don't let you in, man. They don't let you in. Bull markets don't let you in. Bear markets don't let you out. Okay. And when you bull markets do let you in, they go way farther than you think, and then they come back down violently and scare everybody. Injective protocol, INJ. Okay, so I know this was a favorite. This obviously went a lot higher. A lot of people on Twitter caught this. Kudos, hats off to them. The DeMark work. These red numbers, normally you can have 13 of these days where you're up like this. These like new highs. You could have 7 more. You're at a 6. You have 7 more up days in INJ. Think about that. And that is the market update. Okay, let's see what we got going on in the chat here. Okay. Okay, super chat from T-Bone, an existing subscriber. I appreciate that. Bill, when to take profits in BTC miners like Mara and Riot? I'm fighting taking profits prior to the ETH's announcement, the ETF's announcement, and the halving coming up. Okay, so this is a good question. And it's not just about the Bitcoin miners, right? It's probably about everything. The question becomes at this stage, how do you manage risk, right? How do you manage your P&L? All right. The first thing I think you do is you earmark how much of your portfolio you're actually going to cash out of. Now, let's say you might say half. Okay. I would say less than half. Okay. Like you want to try to remain as uncomfortable as possible unless something ridiculous happens. Okay. I don't think the halving is necessary a sell the fact event for Bitcoin miners because the only way these guys are going to get the amount of Bitcoin that they need is to take over mining companies. Bitcoin miners have done nothing. MicroStrategy is not up the way Apple and Nvidia are up. So the answer to T-Bone is how much crypto stock stuff do you have to take profits in? I think you don't have to take profits in crypto equities until the day the spot Bitcoin ETF actually starts trading or a week before that. A lot of that stuff, I think you can let run. Let me see if I still got it in the PowerPoint to try to make the point. Okay, so these are not entirely updated charts, but I can still make the point. Okay, again, so HUT, okay, Bitcoin miner, it was at 22. It was at 22 in July of this year. Coinbase, right, started Celsius at 200. Kathy Wood got off the train at what, 98? Marathon Digital broke out at 16, resistance at 20. Meh. You want to know what you take profits? At 30, because it was straight down. Now, is it uncomfortable to like be long when everyone keeps talking about sell the fact events? T-Bone's asking exactly the right question. He's helping you all out, right? Why is it's understandable because we just came out of a bear market. Everyone is like, when do I sell? When do I sell? Okay. My father had this joke as a stockbroker. He had his own like little cheesy saying. It was great. When everyone calls him up and says, when do I buy? Sell. And when everybody calls you up and say, when do I sell? Buy. Now, T-Bone being a huge fan of the show, I want to make and a huge Patreon customer, right? I want him to make the most money possible. So what I'm going to tell him is I would say, you can take 25%, you can take 50% off the table. But here's the catch about taking profits. You got to be willing to get in on a dip, and you got to be willing to ape in if it doesn't dip, which is why being in my Patreon is important. Okay. Like if you're going to get a dip, you may see it at the end of the month. Beyond that, I don't know. Now, of course, there's also this idea, right, that, if you look at the screen, right, this is a called trust yourself. If you look at the screen and go, wow, that's a lot of money. That's unbelievable. That might be the high. And if those people took profits, I don't blame them. If you look at the screen, you go, oh my God, this number is just unbelievable. Let it go. Have we gotten to that point yet? Okay. I don't know. That I don't know. Okay. Okay. Let's go to some live TA. If the computers will let us, I may only be able to get trading view up here. Okay, Megan, the 1999 super chat said, "Don't sell your shelf short. You hyped up Solana a year ago. All I got to say is thank you." Yes, it was both me and my co-host Toby. Like, I talked to her about it. I told her about the Solana phone, and she said, "I love it." And when she said, "I love it," I went all in on Solana. So hats off to Toby. And by the way, the Solana Psychic is coming back. So I appreciate the super chat, Megan. I appreciate your viewership. Like I said, folks, the people in my Patreon, they got on board and they caught Solana. They caught it. Okay. Now let's talk about what's going on in the market right now. Let's try to get at least some tactical read. We're going to start with Solana because I know that's what everybody cares about. Okay. So here is the big picture on Solana weekly. Okay. So there's this 117 level. Okay. By the way, before I get going on here, I want to take a brief moment to thank the Eagle King, for working on Christmas Day. Right. Shout out in the comments to the Eagle King. Right. Can't have the market update without him. Now, here's the thing about Solana, and bear with me. So these diagonal resistance lines. Now, I know I made jokes about throwing out the charts, but the new game in TA, right? So the game was throw out the charts. Now we're bringing them back in. Okay. Because now, we're a little bit higher up the mountain. It's a little bit thinner up here now. All right. Now, 117 was resistance. They blew through that. If Solana dips to 117 and you see people buying it down there, who's buying it down there? Crypto hedge funds. Okay. Because they obviously don't have enough. Now, if Solana tops here, that's probably good news for everybody. I have seen bull markets where when it goes down, people are happy. People are like, oh, thank God I can stop being upset about missing it. So, I support anybody who wants to take some profits off the table after seeing that Christmas God candle. Okay. But if Solana comes down and tests 117 and doesn't go down, or if the dip in Bitcoin is pathetic, maybe it's like 2%, right? If you get like a pathetic dip the next 2 days, forget about it. It's going to go back up again. So manage your P&L accordingly. You can pay yourself. Okay. I have been teaching my people about being a pig. That worked the last month. What's going to work now is judging the dips and letting the market test your conviction, right? Live TA is all about, right? This whole market is about your conviction. In other words, if Solana comes down here, runs stops at 117 and comes back, what's going to happen? It's going to go straight to 145. That's it. I mean, it's too tidy for Solana to go back down to 90 at this point. I mean, that would be great, but that would be great for too many people. That's why it may not happen. Now, I saw somebody in the comments, seemingly really asking about ApeCoin. Okay. Taking requests in my Patreon for altcoins. That's the new place to see live TA. Okay. So, as is with all of these coins, right? And in some ways, it makes my job easy, right? The thing is getting people to believe it, because I don't think people believe it. Like maybe they do after today, but they may not, right? Like ApeCoin, there's nobody home until $2 because it's still in the middle of an air pocket. Now there's hesitation. Maybe that's not the greatest altcoin ever. Everything from the last cycle, is it going to make it to the next cycle? Blah, 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 blah. Okay. But that still doesn't mean it can't unwind that excess, right? And this is not even Celsius. This is just the high from August of last year. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what's so important? What's the big deal about August of 2023? What are we saying? There's not going to be any metaverse? The metaverse is dead? Oh yeah, the Solana phone was dead right up until people figured out that there was like a bonk airdrop on it, and it was gone. And then the next thing you know, everyone's going to want a phone that pays for itself, because it's not going to be the first Solana airdrop that's going to moon, just like all the airdrops on ETH, right? The Uniswap airdrop being the most famous thing, right? People who traded on Uniswap got an airdrop that went to 8, crashed down to 2, and if you held it, it went to 20. What do you think is going to happen when that's happening on a phone, right? I mean, people giving me like, real serious super chats, right? Because thought leadership matters. Thought leadership matters. In other words, one thing I'll say, Baby Whale wants to check Litecoin. One thing I will say, we have entered the age of the analyst. This is me talking my book, right? The past has been TV or crypto content trying to influence you in one direction or the other, right? This is the type of market where you need analysts, right? Because I've seen this type of move before. It was in stocks, but I've seen it before where everything was just so radically undervalued that when it went up 60%. And everyone goes, oh, I can't buy something up 60%. And I remember Jim Cramer standing outside the stock exchange, right? It's easy to make fun of that guy. It is. He gives you a lot of reasons, but I remember this guy saying, you know what? I don't care if it's up 60%, buy it. That is exactly what I did for the people in my Patreon. Exactly. Now, ApeCoin is just an example. Okay. Vincent wants me to look at Matic. I know some smart people that think the whole, all these chains have these crazes going on them. Some guys are like, Matic might be next. I saw some of the ETH layer 2s got frisky last week. This has done nothing. And, this is also popular. Richard Barry is making this popular online. Twitter. Right? When you get the teacup and handle action, frequently the action on the handle, you got teacup and handle when the action over here on the handle is so frustrating, so choppy, and so annoying, you push yourself out of the trade. Like if you only knew one chart formation and this was it, or if you just knew like the rounding bottom, which is a form of bigger the base, the higher in the space. Like you want to see a rounding bottom, secret network. Anybody remember privacy? Anybody remember sector themes? World Economic Forum. They want you to eat bugs. They don't think you should have free speech. And instead of scaring you with climate change, they're going to try to take water away from you. There's a tweet, got deleted. I've seen it. That's what they're saying. These people are making no bones about it. Are you telling me Secret released a movie as an NFT a year and a half ago? You imagine what they could build on these networks, these privacy coins that are going to come out? I don't know. I was a big fan of Zcash. Their CEO had to leave. Whether I'm right about Zcash or not, I don't care. Somewhere in this market, they're going to develop a privacy narrative. And when that starts mooning, that is just, that's going to, can you imagine if they develop privacy on Solana? Or there's a privacy coin started trading on Solana, people would go crazy. They would go nuts. Somebody wanted me to look at Litecoin. So Litecoin has always been something that I like to like. Like some of my guilty pleasures, I call it the box of chocolates under the bed, like Rune. Yeah, that took off. So I'll give you a hint. My Patreon people got this 3 days before Christmas. So this looked like a base to you? What do you think? Let me ask you a question. I may actually leave you with this. What is going to happen when the general public looks at their phone and discovers that they can buy crypto on Robinhood and PayPal? What's going to happen? That's all this Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash. What are they going to do? They're just going to hit the green button. How easy is it in these apps? They're just going to go up, boop, 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 boop. Litecoin is a form of money. Bitcoin Cash may have layer 1 style functionality on it. None of this has been traded. Bitcoin maximalists are underplaying the BRC20 token story. Litecoin is trying to do something with privacy. There's only two kinds of cryptocurrencies in the market. Cryptocurrencies that have mooned and cryptocurrencies that will moon. The only difference is like all this stuff from the last cycle, after it reprices itself, is not all going to continue to go up. You're still going to have a market of cryptos. It's kind of already started. Again, a big Patreon theme. You went from a crypto market to a market of cryptos where certain cryptos were mooning on different days. I mean, Polkadot went up 20%. You know, there was a day where Arbitrum and Optimism were up like 30%. With the rest of the market fairly stable, you could still have a God candle in Solana. You really haven't had it yet. You have not had a day where Solana was up like 30% that I can recall. You have not had a day when Bitcoin is up 25%. You have not seen it. Okay. Yeah. Baby Whale says that's a long base. It certainly is. Fetch AI. You know, anything AI is going to outperform in crypto. It is. Okay. Okay. You know, and people are saying, you know, Zcash is not dead. Steve J. I gotta give Steve J some credit. Steve J is that guy. He is into DeFi perp, and he's not coming off of it. And that kind of conviction is admirable. Seriously, he is not coming off DeFi perp. Now, if you ask me, I'm kind of a synthetics guy. Okay, but this is DeFi. This is supposedly dead, never coming back. It's all over. Okay, this is August of 2022. Okay, I'm not sharing screen. Okay, so let me do that. I appreciate everybody tolerating me today in low resolution because of computer issues. I wanted to make sure the broadcast actually got through. Do you realize that in DeFi perp, okay, it's a rounding bottom. It's just starting to break out. It does have to get through 1,000, which was the August 2022 high. But again, this stuff went straight down when Celsius died and allegedly DeFi all died with it. Now, I really kind of hope these 60,000% APIs don't come back and all this Ponzi-nomics don't come back. But, you know, there's things like GMX, you know, synthetics, derivatives on the blockchain, real world assets on the blockchain, you know. Group I work with, their water tokens coming out in 2 weeks. Real world assets on the blockchain could revive, and security tokens could cause Avalanche to trade like Solana. And if the real world assets are trading on DeFi platforms, that could also create something radical. If these DeFi platforms can disrupt what we call securities lending in legacy. I'm just saying, right? Like Steve J asked about DeFi perp on every single show. That, ladies and gentlemen, is called conviction. And if Steve J's right and this whole thing gets unwound, right? If it goes down in 8 weeks and it goes up in 8 weeks, Steve's going to look like a genius because he's going to 1x in Ethereum-based DeFi coins. Now, maybe they reinvent DeFi on Solana. I don't know. But Steve J isn't just teaching you about DeFi. He's teaching you about conviction. Tyler says, you know, the AI, the symbol AI on Solana has been flying. Okay. Yeah. I mean, everybody is going to have to jump in. I've started looking at the small coins on Solana. It looks exactly like the ETH universe did in 2020. Just a small reminder, all the building that has been done in crypto since 2016 has been on ETH. Now, you know, is all that going to move to Solana? Maybe. Okay. All I know is stay away from groupthink, right? One of the lessons of 2023 is groupthink was wrong. I got caught in groupthink. I thought the stock market was going to go down. It did, and it didn't. Okay. Groupthink is this market can't go higher. It can. Groupthink is the story of the year was FTX. The story of this year was the bottom in Bitcoin and how this market bored everyone to death. Because remember, Bitcoin went from 16 to 30 and then sat there. And that was actually the brutal part of the bear market. Just, Bitcoin had gone up. Everyone was excited. And then the market died. I mean, influencers were there was nothing to talk about to such an extent that these guys started doing karate combat. They started having like MMA training, and the way to keep people engaged was for these to go start training and to go fight, which it would be fantastic. However, my body will not cooperate with that. But that is how boring it got at one point in 2023. People got bored out of this market. Now it's moving and people want to take the day off. I told people about Christmas. I'm like, yes, it's Christmas. The Eagle King, Cowboys up. We get on the air. You want to take a break? Take a break in the bear market. You just had a break. Now is the time to get in and get involved. Okay. Big Rich has a comment. We won't comment on his comment because that is for the people in Patreon. Okay. So my final words, roughly 1,500 people a day watch a market update. Okay. If you're watching a market update, massive alpha is being created inside a $15 a month Patreon group, right? The 6th Street Crypto podcast, if 15 US dollars is a lot of money, I get it. The 6th Street Crypto podcast on Twitter, crypto_noble, might get you through. With the public market update, I'm going to try to do as many as I can during the holidays to A, help you out, B, navigate some of this insanity, and B, and C, tell you, hey, take a look at my Patreon. So to the super chatters, right, to the people who are helping me, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We'll see you next time.